What if you could market less but sell more? Angela Frank, the fractional CMO and founder of the Growth Directive, has helped businesses generate over 50 million in revenue, and today she's spilling her secrets. We're breaking down the marketing ecosystem, which is the strategy that can transform your business. Today, Angela will share why your marketing ecosystem holds the key to growth and how to tell if your marketing is actually working or wasting money, and her top strategies for using marketing trends to get ahead in 2025. So if you're ready to simplify your marketing and amplify your results, this episode is for you, so don't miss it. And get ready to tune in and take your marketing to the next level. Hey, entrepreneurs. Are you ready to boost your profit and grow your business? Well, welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast, where we share ideas to help you scale your company, increase profitability, and set up for a successful exit. I'm your host, Marcia Riner, a business growth strategist and the profit booster behind Infinite Profit. I've helped countless entrepreneurs to build highly profitable and sale ready businesses. That's more profit now and a bigger payout later on. And by the way, today's episode is sponsored by Infinite Profit, where we don't just talk profit, we deliver it. If you're ready to take your business to the next level, join us at infiniteprofitconsulting.com. But before we start, I've got something special for you. And if you ever felt like you were doing everything right, but just not getting the traction you deserve, well, here's an idea for you. How about customer reviews? They can be your secret weapon to attract new clients and boost trust. That's why I'm excited to share our free growth and marketing audit at profitbooster.biz. And in just one session, we'll show you how to turn those reviews into real growth. So if you're ready to stand out, go visit profitbooster.biz and get started. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Our guest today is Angela Frank. She's a fractional CMO who has generated over 50 million in marketing revenue for her clients. She is the founder of the Growth Directive, a marketing consultancy helping brands create sustainable marketing programs. Her award-winning book, Your Marketing Ecosystem: How Brands Can Market Less and Sell More, helps business owners and founders and corporate leaders to create straightforward and profitable marketing strategies. Angela is also the host of the Growth Pod podcast, where she shares actionable tips to help you build profitable brand that you love. Welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast, Angela. I'm excited to have you on today.
Marcia, I'm excited to be here and chatting how you can get greater profits from your marketing.
Yay! We love that word profit, right? So, first of all, I'm a marketing geek by interest, no formal training except for what I get from my learned lessons and the education, and things that I've tried. But I just love the idea that you came up with this ecosystem of this, like, this is a living, breathing business plan that you're facing your marketing with. And, I'm a firm believer, if you're not marketing, you're not growing your business at all. So how did you come up with the idea of creating this ecosystem?
Yeah, so the ecosystem idea really was born out of me doing some introspection about what actually makes my strategies work. I
Mhm.
knew that, I've been able to get great results for brands, but I felt a little insecure, like I was a marketing generalist. And I realized that being a generalist was a bit of a superpower because you can see how everything works together. And I'm sure, Marcia, you've experienced this as well. Since you haven't had formal marketing training, you've really had to, experiment and learn, and you see how things connect together. And the same is true with the marketing ecosystem. When you create a strategy for your brand where all of your marketing is working together, it's almost like you're creating there's like a corporate word synergy when people are working together and you're able to do more than you are alone. The same is true with a marketing ecosystem. So you're able to create better results and spend less money in the long run. And so that's why I really love marketing ecosystems. And that's why all of my strategies come from an ecosystem first approach.
I love it. And it is completely a fresh idea around marketing. I've had, I'm here going 6 years on this show now. So I brought on just a few marketing experts onto the show, but nobody's presented it in a way that says, this is an ecosystem. This is something that is moving and interconnected to the entire business and how you generate the direction you're going. So that's why I love all this. But why do you think the ecosystem actually leads to growth?
When you approach your marketing with an ecosystem mindset, you keep more of an open mind and you test and explore a little bit more
Mm.
than I find founders do when they're like, I want paid ads to work for my brand and I'm going to make them work. And that can become really frustrating. And the truth is, every brand, even if, you have very similar products or services to your competitors, you have a unique brand. And so therefore your marketing strategies are going to be unique to you. It's almost like a fingerprint. And I think that by taking an ecosystem approach, you almost create a growth mindset instead of something that's so frustrating. I know marketing is something that, there's all these tips and tricks. And should I be doing paid advertising? Should I be doing social? Should I be, blogging? It's all overwhelming and very confusing. But when you strip it all back and think about how can I grow this ecosystem, you just frame it a little bit different in your mind. And I find that it's way more helpful for founders and business owners to think about their marketing that way than all of the confusing gobbledygook that's online.
My goodness, isn't that the truth? There is so many different avenues that you can, or everybody feels pressured to participate in. Oh, I've got to do free ads, like you said, or I've got to do paid ads, or oh, I've got to do organic, marketing, or, and all these things when the business owner, all they want is more customers. And they go out and they go into this space of marketing and go, what do I do? Do I have to do it all? And some of the marketing agencies and specialists out there say, yeah, you got to do a little bit of everything. And I think your ecosystem model really says, well, how does it represent with me? How does it sit with me? What time, money, resources do I actually have to put out there, right?
Right. Yeah, I
Okay.
always recommend founders start with one organic channel, meaning you're not paying for you to be discovered, and one paid channel if that's something that you're interested in as well.
Okay.
Each channel will have a natural point where you've taken it as far as it can go. And so once you reach that point, then you can look and expand. And that way, like you said, you're not trying to be everywhere all at once. You're trying to do a few things very well. And maybe you're not sure what organic channel. In that case, you could test a couple, but then pick one and run with it and take it as far
Mm.
as it can go. And my strategies are based on, trying to reduce that overwhelm that founders feel with their marketing and proving that it's actually better for you to do less and do it well than trying to be everywhere.
Ugh, that's a breath of fresh air, especially when it comes in the marketing space, because it can be quite expensive to test and dabble and, spread your wings into all these other spots. So, when we're looking at our marketing strategies and we're trying to decide which one to stick with or go with, how do we know if it's working or not?
The key way you know is your marketing data. So, when I say that, if you're getting a little light bulb saying, I don't know where my marketing data is, that's okay. A lot of brands are in that same spot. So, if that's the case, first set up some marketing dashboards. If you're somebody who uses G Suite, you have a Gmail for your brand, you already have a great data analysis tool available to you. It's called Google Looker, and you can get it set up relatively easy. If you're not super techy, you can hire someone on Fiverr to get everything set up for you. And that way you have a single source of truth for your marketing.
Mm.
If you're somebody who's not in Google and you want a more plug and play approach, I personally love agency analytics. You just connect your account and it can automatically set up all your dashboards and everything, and you can be done in an hour. So that's the first place to start. Once
Okay.
you have your data established, it'll really tell you what's working and what's not, meaning you'll see where your leads are coming from, how many of those leads are turning into a paying customer, and then going beyond that, what the average order value and average customer lifetime value is by channel. So if you're trying to see what channels are working for you, start with those metrics. The data will tell you where you should be leaning in more and where your strategy may need some adjustment, or maybe it just doesn't make sense for you to play on that marketing channel, and that's fine.
Well, that's really good because, I know that people always say data and, they get all scared. Where is it? I don't know what it means. I don't know what looks good, what should be good. And, when we get in with from the business owner side, when we get in with the marketer and they're like, oh, well, that data was good. Let's do another month to test, right? And all this stuff. Now we have a resource that we can kind of look at ourselves and go, yeah, this is good or no, that's bad. Um, is there any kind of data like that on social media? Because, likes and, don't always mean business, right?
100%. And this is the part where it can start to feel overwhelming when you're looking at your data. And social media, might be a great tool for you to engage with your customers and build that relationship before they become actually a customer. So engage with your prospects, and educate them on the front end. So one of
Mm.
the easy ways you can tell how important social is in your marketing strategy is by using what I like to call a Heidi How, or a how did you hear about us? How did you hear about us survey when someone becomes a customer?
Mm.
Because maybe somebody, found out they follow you on your social media and they really love the content that you're putting out there. But maybe on your dashboard, it shows they came through an ad or they came through your email. And that's great. That's what's called last touch. That was the last touch that they made with your marketing before they became a customer. But
Mm.
the Heidi How, when you ask them, how did you hear about us? That tells you what happened before that last touch. So
Got
maybe they're like, I found you on TikTok. And that's cue to you that the education piece, even though it wasn't showing up as a last touch, is a valuable part of your marketing strategy. So that's how you can kind of understand a little bit more about how social media is playing into your strategy, since a lot of what's going on there is that education on the front end and not necessarily the final touch that someone makes before they make a purchase.
That is so helpful because you know what? It's like you think that, oh, well, it came from Google, so I have to keep paying Google ads. But when in reality, it really came from TikTok or Instagram, right? Or LinkedIn, and they click something else to get there. How do you feel about having some sort of a lead magnet or a direct marketing piece that is attached to the social media so you can track that beyond doing the what did you call it? The Heidi How?
The Heidi How, yeah. I love the lead magnet piece because you're saying, if you've been enjoying my content, here's something even more valuable. And you're encouraging people to take that next step in your buyer journey. And they're giving you a little bit of their personal information in exchange for that lead magnet. It makes sense as that next step, right? Getting them more involved in your funnel and your sales process. And this is something that I do actually on LinkedIn a lot, because on LinkedIn, for consultants, that's my main platform aside from my podcast. And I'll say, comment and I'll send you the access. And when they
Mm,
click on the access link, they need to put in their email. And now they're on my email list. And we can continue to foster that relationship, build that trust, psychological safety around the value that I have to provide. And that way, they're not just lurking on my LinkedIn forever.
gosh, this makes total sense. So there's one other piece that I have a question on. Is it still active to have what they call pixels, right? Where there's a little code on wherever you're advertising so you know where they're traveling from?
Yes, this is still a common tactic. Or if you're not using a pixel, sometimes brands use UTM parameters, which if you've ever clicked on a link and there's like a whole bunch of like random letters and a big string after the main URL, that's a UTM. It's just tracking where you came from when you clicked on that page. And I prefer UTMs rather than pixels because If you're spending money on Meta, if you're spending money on Google, they want you to spend even more money. And so
Mm,
if somebody encounters you on Google, clicks on your Google ad, encounters you on Facebook, clicks on your Facebook ad, guess who's going to claim responsibility for the purchase? Both
got it.
platforms, because they both want to claim that purchase so you can continue to spend money on those platforms.
Mm,
So using a UTM, the final click or the last touch that they made, if they came from both ads, which one was truly the one where they were ready to check out. And this just gives you a little bit more insight, right? It's important that you were advertising in both places, but your last touch ad, when you're comparing the two, was probably a little bit more compelling, or the landing page you were using had a greater sense of urgency, or some other thing was happening. So that's why I prefer UTMs over the pixel. However, we never want perfect to get in the way of done. So if you're
uh,
just going to use a pixel, that's fine. Just remember that, if you have 100 purchases at the end of the month, but your pixels are telling you you had 200, it's because they're claiming responsibility for more than one. So just
got
take
it.
that pixel data with a grain of salt.
Got it. Well, you know what? This is what helps, I think, the audience understand how that data is collected, right? There are behind the scenes little breadcrumbs, I guess, that tell the data center where your leads are coming from. Did they come from that email? Did they go onto your social media? Did they hit your ad? Did they go to your landing page with the lead magnet and download? I mean that tells you whether your marketing is actually working or you're wasting money, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the important thing here is the more channels you introduce, the more complicated that data becomes. So if you know that you're advertising on Facebook and Google, and so what if they're both claiming that, the purchase that was made came from both platforms? At the end of the day, if you're putting dedicated effort into both and then you stop one of them and your sales go down, well, then that it was because of the change that you made in your advertising strategy. And the more channels that you introduce, the more variables you're introducing into your ecosystem. And so maybe you change something in your paid strategy and your organic strategy and sales dip. Well, now you don't know really what it's from. And so that's
Mm,
why I always advise brands to take a very methodical approach to not only the channels that they decide to use, but their testing strategy as well, to make sure that you're you're getting as many learnings as possible without muddying the waters. Like at the end of the day, the data that you have will be what empowers you to grow profitably. So making
love
sure that, you're being mindful about that in your marketing is key.
Okay, so I had a little bit of anxiety going on here, and maybe the audience did too, going, "Oh my gosh, there's so much to know about marketing." And I'm just a smaller company. I got 3 or 4 people in my company. Do I really, should I be doing this myself? And I have to say, like accounting, I always say never do your own accounting, but this might be something where you need an expert's help doing it and at least setting it up and monitoring it with you, so that way you're not throwing your money out there, because I know so many business owners just like, oh, let's go try this, throw money at it, it didn't work, let's go try this over here now, throw money at it, that didn't work, when in reality it could have worked had they had an expert that understood how to set it up properly and manage the data so that you could see if it worked or not.
100%. I think there's two common pitfalls I see brands fall into. One is, we don't need an expert. We're going to figure it out. And I'm going to hire a bunch of interns to run this.
Mm,
That's dangerous because the interns don't really know what works from a strategic point of view. They're just executing your orders. And so you're going to spend a
that's true.
lot of money training them, a lot of time, a lot of management effort to make sure that they're executing a good strategy that is something that, as the founder, if you're not really literate in marketing, you might be advising them to go in the wrong direction. And while that's fine, I'm very someone who loves to learn by doing, so I don't want to get in the way of anyone who wants to do that. But if you're looking for a quicker path to growth, bringing in an expert who creates the strategy that then gets given to the interns with training so they know how to expertly execute the one thing that they've been hired to do, that will save you a lot of pain, time, effort, and it'll streamline the entire process. The
Love
other
it.
the other thing that I see brands fall into is the ideas founder, someone who's constantly like, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. And I've worked with
Girl.
many of these founders. And so the thing that I provide that's the most valuable to those founders is directing the effort. I love that idea. We have actually, your strategic goal is over here, though. So, what we're going to do is, take this idea, but we're going to bring it into a channel that we're already playing in instead of trying to launch all these new channels.
Mm.
And I know that you want to move to this new thing, but we actually need to make sure that we're testing this one a little bit longer because we've already spent a lot of time, effort, and money to get it up and running. And we want to make sure that we're giving that as much, you know, energy to make it successful as possible. And so, in that way, the founder has a lot of ideas and they're very creative and strategic, but they have a very short attention span. So, making sure that the money that's already been spent on marketing is being given its time to run its course and be successful is key. So, if you're if you're hearing that one of those two things is really applicable to your situation, I just advise you to take a step back, take a breath, and either make a plan to create a strategy for those interns or lower level marketers, or make sure you have somebody that you are running ideas through before they're being executed. That will be key to your success and your profitable growth.
You hit on a couple of things here that I think are really important for the business owner to understand that marketing takes time. Right? You can't get if you think about a big aircraft carrier, they can't turn on a dime, right? And marketing takes time to get moving, to get awareness. And um, if I remember correctly, it's somewhere up around 20 visual appearances that need to be seen by the potential prospect before they even recognize they're seeing it, right? So that's a lot of time and effort to get things, as you said, in motion first before it starts to pay out. Um, how do we shortcut that?
So, data will be your shortcut and a strategic testing plan.
Mm,
So, when I say strategic testing plan,
yeah.
sounds more complicated than it is. All you're going to do is say, okay, let's take email for an example. My email open rates are very low. So, what you're going to do is you're going to test only your subject line until you find a winning subject line. Then you're going to say, okay, I want to increase the number of people who click through on that email and actually visit my website. Then you'll say, these are the things I'm going to test to do that. And you're going to test one thing at a time. And when you do that, you're creating super targeted learning and you're making sure that you're spending all of your effort in the right place. And so, email is an example, but the same thing for paid ads. If you want a shortcut to growth, just be intentional about what you're doing. Don't just say, well, I'm going to run an ad with 50 different background colors and we'll see if people like purple or green better. What you're going to do instead is test your copy, test like different lengths of copy. Meta, for example, is great for this because you can do multiple at a time. But making sure that you're just doing your copy and then you're doing your ads and then you're doing your call to action and you're doing one thing at a time because
Mm.
then you know what's working. And if something's working in your email subject lines, well, it's possible that it's going to work also in your paid ads. And so when you do one thing at a time and you get those learnings, you're actually going to have that shortcut to growth.
But doesn't that mean a lot of money and time on the business owner side to learn something? I mean, should we not expect the marketing expert to have a little bit of a head start on the what works and what doesn't work side?
In
In
a
theory?
perfect world, yes, and this is really where, working with someone like a fractional CMO, is super valuable because
Mm,
if you're relying on your agency, if you're relying on a marketing manager, or even your marketing director to do this, chances are your internal team, just like you, has a lot going on, and so testing isn't going to be top of mind. Where your agency, it's not a priority at all because they're just trying to do the bare minimum to keep your income coming in month
mhm,
over month for them. They're just going to do whatever they think they can get by with. That's the absolute bare minimum to keep your business.
mm.
So when you bring in that strategic partner, they are going to be the one that you can rely on for that testing, learning, and insights. They're able to sit down with each member of your team and say, what do you think that the opportunities are and how are we going to get there? And that key piece is really valuable in a marketing team and just your marketing strategy in general. And then that way you don't have to manage it all yourself.
Love it. That is the perfect definition or results driven definition of a fractional chief marketing officer, such as yourself. And thank you for saying that because I think business owners go, well, what do I need her for? I've got these guys here. Oh, I've got this team over there. I've got them. But then in reality, they're not overseeing and leading, as you said, the strategy to take the company, which the business owner and founder just wants results, right? They don't know all the nuances and pieces on it, and nor do they have the expertise to oversee the nuances on it to make sure their team's going. So that's a super valuable tool, and having that fractional that can be on your team and help you lead the company where you want to go instead of, hiring a, $180,000 a month or a year job when you can have somebody that works with you on a project or on a piece or on a direction or a plan at a fraction of the price. So I love
100%.
it. I love it. I love fractionals. My favorite team member because they're really specific in what they can do and bring for the results on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a few more things before we wrap up here. Why don't you share a few of your ideas on what you think is going to be successful for next year?
Yeah, one of the key things that I'm paying close attention to, when you Google something, now there's this big AI snippet anytime you Google. Well, this is going to have a huge impact on organic search traffic. And
Mm,
so that's something that I'm working with my clients right now to make sure that if they're getting primarily if their primary channel is organic search traffic, I'm trying to work with them to diversify into a broader content strategy on social because you can get organic traffic from social as well. The other thing that I'm paying attention to is how do you actually get into those AI snippets reliably? Because that will be, I think, primarily where search traffic will be coming from in the near future as Google AI gets better and better and gives you everything you need to know. I feel that people will be less and less likely to click through when they're actually Googling information.
right, because the original search is, the first section of it is sponsored or paid ads to get there, right? To get the
Hmm.
first, page of Google per se. And this AI in theory is supposed to be more non-paid, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%.
you're saying that the way to get on there is through your content?
So for the snippets, yes, there will be very specific types of content to create, but instead, I think it's going to be a much more valuable time and effort to promote your brand on social media
Mm,
if you are reliant on search traffic. So trying to make sure that, you're really spending time creating content for social media and getting traffic to your website that way will be key in 2025 and beyond.
interesting. Okay, so a whole nother reason why we have to activate on social media, which is crazy. I thought we were trying to, make it easier, but it's not. So we have to be active on social media. So now the AI can pick it up. So interesting. Okay. So beyond AI, what else? What else? One more tidbit on what's trending.
The other thing that's trending is founder led growth for thought leadership. So
Oh,
we're seeing more and more founders being the face of their brand, even if
mm,
it's a product-based brand, and just trying to educate people in their niche online. And we're seeing a lot more of that. There's actually even entire content agencies that are being created because as a founder, you're so busy. How are you going to now be the face behind your brand if that's not your job?
right?
So we're seeing that more and more often, and we're seeing businesses spring up to support that as well.
Wow, how exciting. Okay. So, I think that I'm happy to hear. I think that the trickery has gone away out of marketing, and as we evolve through digital marketing, there's no big huge banner ads or pop-ups that tear you down a hole that you never wanted to go down onto. So it's nice that real honest content, and if you're really passionate about your company and your brand and the offerings that you have, it sounds like content's the key to really bringing that out in ways of value that you can get that organic without having a dancing video or throw ice on your head or whatever the next challenge is that you need to do to get awareness because gosh, it's overwhelming.
It definitely can be. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, really just take a step back, look at that data, and that data will tell you where you should lean in and areas that you can totally cut without losing out on business. And that is a huge win all in itself because now you have less to do.
Ah, love it. Or better yet, you hire people that can do it for you in the right manner. That's always my favorite. Not that we have, money to burn and throw away all the time, but I think that this is a valuable way of really truly growing your company, putting the effort forth in the right direction, which is marketing. Marketing is brand awareness and product awareness and being there enough times in your client or your customers buyer journey that they recognize you and consider you in their short list of desired companies that they want to work with. And I think that this is truly important, and don't take it by chance, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Mm,
Getting that valuable partner to help with your marketing will save you a lot of headache in the short and long run.
love it, love it. All right. Well, thank you, Angela. And thanks, guys, for listening today. I hope you got some valuable ideas and insights that will help your business be more profitable this year. And I know that looking at your marketing in a way that is like her tag, right? The ecosystem in your business. And if you can work this in a right way, I know you're going to get the visibility you wanted. You're going to get to that short list with those ideal customers that you want in your company. And I think that's just what it's a really 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 important part of your business, and your business model is marketing and having the right person on it. All right, as I mentioned earlier. Oh, wait a minute, Angela, where can listeners find out more about you? Oh my gosh, I just totally jumped around all that. Where can they find out more about you and your book?
Yeah. So what we talked about today, what we talked about today is the topic of my book, Your Marketing Ecosystem. And to give you a better idea of the type of strategy that a marketing ecosystem can provide to you, I'd love to offer a free digital copy. A free digital copy of my book. You can get that at yourbrandevolve.com/free book. I'm sure you'll post a link as well. But it has everything you need to know. So even if you're not somebody who wants to implement it yourself, it still gives you the framework to then go
Mm.
and find a partner to work with you on implementing that strategy. And of course, there's QR codes and things where you can follow up with me. But the main thing is getting that ecosystem implemented in your brand will be the key to creating that profitable, predictable, scalable growth that I know so many brands are looking for.
I love it. So important to have a plan, right? And have that plan match your business and your business goals and desires and directions and resources that you have. So I love it. Go download the book. Go grab it, use it. It's a tool. It's what we all need to grow our business. All right. So yeah, go. I hope you go download that book. It'll be super valuable. And as I mentioned before, if you're thinking you're doing everything right but not getting the traction you deserve, let's look at your existing customers and how they can be a brand message for you in their reviews, and how we can utilize those reviews in our social media, in our marketing, on our website in different ways to help you boost trust. So go while you're at it, grab my free growth and marketing audit at profitbooster.biz. And in just one session, we'll show you how to turn those reviews into real growth. Don't forget to subscribe to the show. You don't want to miss future shows. We're on every Tuesday, and you can find Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast players. And we're looking forward to more great profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thanks so much, Angela. This was really helpful.